Morning, everyone. My name's George. I'm a strategic growth manager here at VouchedFor, and I wanted to come on and talk about how the way that people find advisors, how it's changing with the world of AI. So we've seen a massive increase in people using AI to help find advisors and help find everything really. So I thought it'd be helpful to share with you some data points that we found, and also just some trends that we've seen across the VouchedFor platform. So I'm going to cover how AI is changing the way that a client might find an advisor, why feedback and testimonials matter, how you can feature in the Times and Telegraph, sorry, and then also some real key practical steps to help you as a business stay ahead of these changes that we're going to see happening over the next few years. So firstly, how is AI changing client search? Now, I'm sure many of you have used AI in some degree. I know I use it quite a lot. Most recently was to find a new car, put in a deal. If it was good, outlined everything, and it gave me a massive list of outcomes and whether it was a good deal or not compared to current market conditions. Very helpful. ChatGPT is probably the most popular, and it is. It's got 70 to 80% of the market share, and it's introduced towards the back end of 2021. Since then, we've also had Copilot introduced, Claude and Gemini. I've actually got Copilot built into this laptop. I haven't used it yet, but there's a key there for it. So you can see it's one of those things that's becoming more and more apparent. And one of the things that really stood out to us is how people have used ChatGPT and how quickly it's grown. So I'm going to focus on that as one of the main origins for this. If you look at Google, introduced April the 1st, 2004, took them 10 years to get to just shy of 400 billion searches per year, or 400, sorry, in total. You compare that to ChatGPT, it's only taken 2 years to get to that point. So it's had a massive uptick in people using it. And actually, one of the things that stood out mostly to us is who's using that platform. It's mainly younger people. You might have noticed in schools, my partner, she's a teacher, majority of children have iPads instead of books and pens. So they have access to these systems. They can put in some key pointers for a story, and ChatGPT can fill that for them, give them more insights. Predominantly male users as well, and more than 45% are under the age of 25. Still some over 65 using the platform. And one thing that we've really seen stand out is that actually you might be using AI without necessarily knowing that it's AI that you're looking at. A lot of search engines these days, and I popped this in just before the meeting across a few different ones. This is DuckDuckGo as an example, but I just popped in, do I need income protection for my mortgage? Very first result I get is this search assistant that doesn't necessarily shout it's AI. I know it is, it's got the Gemini logo within that corner, and it's given me a bit of an overall view from Tembo Money and Citizens Advice. And in most cases, people will probably see this and not expect it to be AI and take that as the first result they get. A lot of people are used to, if you pop it into Google, you've got those blue titles that run down the page, your Google results. Actually now, very first thing will also be an AI summary. So it's embedding more and more in the way that we're finding things. And actually, if you look at span of time, it's predicted that AI is going to take over that traditional Google search. One of the key things for me is actually how we use AI. When it comes to Google, it's often that we only put in a few words, might be mortgage advisor near me, financial advisor in Norwich. 4.2 is the average words we find per search when it comes to your traditional search engines. But if you look at AI, it's far more detailed. On average, 23 words per prompt, we like to call it, as opposed to search, because you can be so much more specific. I can put in, I'm a first time buyer based in Norwich. I've just had an inheritance of £180,000. My deposit is at £250,000. I'm looking for my first property. These are my parameters. I want a mortgage advisor that's local to me. Can you help me? And it gives a much more detailed response back. We also find that there's new categories of searching coming to the mix. So on the right there, you've got your traditional big four. You've got informational, navigational, commercial, and transactional. They're the normal ways that someone would search on a typical search engine. So informational, pretty much what it says on the tin. You're looking for information. Navigational, you're using it to get to another area. So I might put in Julian Harris Network website. Click on the link there and get to it. Then you've got your commercials and transactionals. Now, with ChatGPT and with AI, searches that fall into those four brackets only make up 30% of the overall way that people are using it. So we've got this massive other section, and that's usually where people are putting in create, help, make me a financial plan, for example. I'm 30 years old, I have X amount in savings, I want to retire at 55. Can you give me some key pointers that I could do from now to help get to that point? So it's very different to what we're seeing from Google. So how is all of that going to change the way that people find an advisor and search for an advisor? Really, we've got two key ways that people find someone to help them. They either research a recommendation or they search based on their needs. So we start with that first one, researching a recommendation. I speak with hundreds of advisors and advice practices a week, and all of them mention client recommendations as being one of the best ways to grow their business. And I completely agree with them. Typical route, I've been recommended to Jane Smith. First thing I'm going to do is pop her name into Google, find out some information about her and her practice, read some feedback, look at the Google results, look at the website, and then get in touch off the back of that. Now, as we're using more of those search and as we're using things like AI, just put in here, looking for a mortgage advisor, I've been recommended Angie Smith. Is that a good recommendation? AI doesn't have, or ChatGPT doesn't have a secret bank of data that it accesses. It accesses exactly the same stuff that we can. However, it can look across the whole internet in a matter of seconds. So you can see here, we've got a quick run down of what I found of Angie Smith, the mortgage advisor, and whether they are a good recommendation. Now, Angie's using the VouchedFor system. So you can see straight away, it's using that source to highlight whether they are a good advisor. It's got a 5 out of 5 rating, 434 reviews. It's picked out some keywords from clients' reviews as well. So it's got positive, helpful, communicative, patient, made the process smooth. She's FCA regulated. She has all of the qualifications listed. Her fees are listed. She scopes or she talks about the scope of her mortgage advice. What does she specialize in? How does she help people? And then we've got her experience and reputation there using a few different websites, but it's pulling up all of that information that we found. It's then also asked us whether we want to have a comparison of Angie against 2 or 3 other mortgage advisors in the local area, all with good reputations. So it's giving us such a more detailed result than it would do normally. So having all of these different places online where you're highlighting your skills, talking about yourself, promoting the work you do, is going to help that AI search engine. We're also then finding people search based on their needs. So, for example, mortgage advisor for a first-time buyer or financial advisor in Teddington. Again, they'll then look at the reviews that have been generated and maybe use a search engine further, so a directory like VouchedFor or similar, to find someone close by to them. But again, the detail comes back to how much richer the results can be from AI because people take that step and give a far more detailed question or prompt. In this case, we're looking for my first-time buyer who's inherited 200,000. I need advice on how best to buy my first property and mitigate my inheritance tax. Can you help me find a mortgage advisor near me in Bath who can help? Again, it's going to pull up everyone that it's searching for. It might even then ask me what specific things I'm looking for in a mortgage advisor. So clearly explaining everything that's happening, helping me along the process as an example. So there's lots of opportunities to highlight the great work that we do. And that's why genuinely reviews matter now more than ever. In a space where there's fake reviews and there's so much information out there, we need to ensure that we're putting our best step forward. And if you look at AI and you look at marketing, actually the principles of things like SEO stay and remain exactly the same. So good marketing practice will ultimately be good practice with AI optimization. And it's all about focusing on your expertise and having as much source information online as possible. And I'll cover what that means in a little bit more detail. I have a bit of an acronym for this, and it's actually the framework that Google use for their search optimizing. It's EAT or EEAT. It's experience, expertise, authority, and trust. These are the things that you can focus on to help drive that engine. So having increased visibility is important. Reviews generate fresh content related to your business. Fresh content is really important. So either through reviews or through blogs or keeping updating your clients through posts and newsletters, really helpful to keep you at the top of that list. Building trust and credibility, of course, having verified feedback builds that trust and credibility. We'll see later on, but people, around 1 in 3 prospects, will Google an advisor and look at feedback before deciding to work with them. And having your local search relevance is important. Being specific. What do you focus on specifically? Are you helping first-time buyers? Are you helping people reduce inheritance tax? Do you look at inheritance, for example? And AI can help understand your business better. So the more things we can put out there, the better matching we can have, and also the better results we can drive through AI prompts as well. As I've mentioned throughout, trust is massively important. I'm sure you're all in tune with things like Trustpilot, Google reviews, and the fake versions of reviews as well. I bought something on Amazon about a month ago and I left a 3-star review, and it wasn't something important. It was maybe, I think it was something like a cling film holder, very exciting. But I left a 3-star review, and then the next day I had an email from that seller saying, if you were to up your review to a 4 or a 5, I would reimburse the cost of that product. And if that's happened to me, for one, think about how many other people are getting that message. Ultimately, we want to make sure that any piece of feedback we're putting out there is verified and people can trust that. 93% of consumers are influenced by online reviews. And that's only more prevalent when something they're looking at is of high importance to them, like financial advice. And as I said, 1 in 3 prospects will actually Google their advisor before deciding to get in touch with them. So I don't know if anyone's Googled themselves before, just to see what comes up. For me, there's not a lot. Apparently, I was a jazz musician. I'm not. But we want to make sure that whatever's coming up is relevant for you. So George Cooksley here, just popped his name in. He's an advisor in Agentis. Got his LinkedIn profile first, and then a link to his VouchedFor page, showing us all of that great feedback. So I said I was going to come to this later on. What is that source information? So ultimately, this is how we can get your name out there and make sure that through those AI searches and through just searches in general, we're building up your presence and building up your website. So firstly, on that website, why choose us? Having a bit of information about you, about your service, a meet the team page, something that goes into detail, a little bit more about your business and how you like to conduct yourself. Having a location page, really helpful. That pulls you up through those searches, as well as fees information. We saw earlier with Angie when we did that the AI search on ChatGPT, it pulled up that information on fees. Blogs are a brilliant way to keep fresh information coming onto your website. Also, you can use AI to help generate those blogs. Every week on a Monday, I come in and pop into ChatGPT. What are the 5 things that have happened in the UK financial advice space over the weekend that are important to me and I can talk to people about? It gives me some prompts to then go and research that further. So make the most of those tools. Having a review platform like Google, like VouchedFor, really helps pull up that information. Update your profiles, explain what you do, who you do it for, how you do it as well. The more information you can have on there, the better. As a bit of insight on VouchedFor, you have an About Me section. And if that About Me section is less than 150 characters, we're unable to context that through Google. So that just goes to show the more information you can put on about yourself, the better Google results we're going to have. And then lastly, that LinkedIn profile. It's another area that people are going to do their research, and it's a way for you to build up yourself and your company profile to explain exactly what we've been through before, what you do, who you do it for, and how you do that as well. All things that can help pull up your presence. So I'm going to cover a little bit how VouchedFor can help, as well as the Times and the Telegraph. And then I'm also going to finish with some key takeaways that you can do pretty much instantly to help through that process. VouchedFor, if many of you don't know, is the UK's #1 reviews platform for professionals. We do more checks than any other review platform in the UK. Got over, actually that number's a bit out of date now, probably over 600,000 pieces of feedback collected. with 2 million people using us each year to not only find, but also check an advisor. It's often the case people come to us already knowing who they want to speak with, and they do it as part of their due diligence. But also, sometimes people come not knowing who they want to speak with, and they want to do a search in their local area. On average, once advisors are up and running, we actually generate 8 extra clients per year through the system, and it's organic growth. It focuses on recommendations and referrals. We want to sit within that category of due diligence. Ultimately, the best journey for us would be I've heard of Jane Smith, been recommended to her, I Google her, I see her vouch for feedback, I get in touch through her website. Um, our MD often explains vouch for like the wingers on a football pitch. They don't often score, but they often bring in the assists. That's where it sits. Got a few features that help you stand out through that process. So we've got advisor profiles you can see here on the left with Jamie, where he can put all of the information about himself, how he helps people, why he helps people, and his feedback. And then if I was to click underneath his name, I can go straight through to his firm profile as well and read all of the information about the practice. So again, having more of those source information points that's going to help. We also focus on the SEO side of things. We have a team here that do that specifically. So we're putting your best foot forward online anytime someone's researching you, as well as helping you build trust through marketing tools. So things like email signatures, certificates, website widgets, all things that you can post on LinkedIn and social media to help highlight the great work that you do. We also show you how that's happening. So we can break down how many people have Googled you, how many people have clicked on your profile, how they're interacting with your profile. You can see here as an example, this person's collected 11 reviews over the last 12 months. And out of those 11, 6 of those clients have said they're more likely to recommend their advisor because they've seen feedback. On average, it's about 79% of clients say they're more likely to recommend when they can see an advisor's feedback. Recommending someone is a big deal, sharing your details. So when they can see other clients also think you're fantastic, they're far more likely to do so. I mentioned the Times and the Telegraph. We run a yearly top rated guide. It goes out the start of 2026, and it highlights all of those advisors that have taken that step to collect feedback, that have achieved a great milestone by collecting reviews. It's 10 or more, average rating of 4.5 or above, and it also shared with over 5,000 accountants and solicitors. We're also running regional versions of the guide this year, unknown to me, your local paper. So for me, it's the EDP. They're all owned by the same company. So what we're aiming to do is put in regional versions of those guides to really help people find someone local to them. There is a membership version of the VouchedFor site, and it includes everything that we've been through, as well as the ability to receive direct business through the platform. It's not the main focus, but is an option. It's normally £57 plus VAT per month. However, with Julian Harris and on a 12-month commitment, you get 12 months for the price of 10, sorry. So it's a bit of a saving there as well. I'll put my contact details up at the end should you want to be interested in taking up one of the profiles or just having a no obligation conversation where we just go through things in a bit more detail. We're on hand to help, basically. But I wanted to put together some practical steps that you could take away today and work on instantly. So this will be shared afterwards. There's a couple of key things. So firstly, collecting regular feedback, whether that's through Google, through your own platform, or through VouchedFor. Asking clients to leave feedback helps build up that trust and visibility. I always compare things or compare VouchedFor or feedback in general to TripAdvisor. If you were looking at a restaurant or a hotel and there was no feedback for 6 months or you couldn't find anything, you're probably going to question whether they're still doing a good job or do a good job. So having that feedback out there, no matter which system you use, is massively important. Share those reviews through your marketing as well. Use LinkedIn posts, use them on your email addresses, on your email footers, put them on your website. Through VouchedFor, you have those verified reviews and you have those tools available to you. Optimize all of that source information. Look at your fees page, look at your profile, look at your website, build up your LinkedIn, put as much on there as you can to help through that AI search or through the Google search, people find a bit more information about you. As well as that, being able to highlight the feedback you've collected in the Times and the Telegraph really helps you stand out as an advisor. And through any of those AI prompts or searches, we'll be able to highlight that you've featured in that based on your feedback, as well as that you've collected verified reviews. That's one of the key things, verified feedback. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope that you learned something through that process. I appreciate we've got some time for any questions, and I'll also reach out after the webinar in case you wanted to book in a quick one-to-one with myself or a member of the team. But does anyone have any questions that they want me to answer, or anything that they want to run through in a bit more detail?
Hi, George.
Hello.
I just wanted to ask you a quick question. So, you mentioned doing it on LinkedIn. Can you also do it on Instagram?
Great questions. Yeah, we've got options of putting feedback onto kind of all social media. Now, it's not as good as we'd like it to be. It's something that we're working on at the moment. But what you can do is basically screenshot that feedback. We've got certificates that you can screenshot and put on Instagram as well. So there are things that you can use on all social media, really.
Yeah, you just probably need to have a chat with you if possible, because I've just joined with the VouchedFor. So hopefully I'll be in that top rated guide.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely want to talk to you more about some of the other quirks that are on the system.
Yeah, absolutely. More than happy to. What I'll do is what was your name? Sorry, I've got info.
Joseph.
Joseph, perfect. What's your surname?
Akpewrene.
Perfect, Joseph. I'll reach out after this.
Yeah.
And we'll get a conversation together and run through all those things that we can use now.
Excellent, George. Thank you.
Not a problem. Any other questions at all? Okay, not a problem. Perfect. What I'll do is I'll get the slides sent over to you so you've got them, and then I'll also pop you over an email with my details on. So if you want to have a conversation about anything to do with feedback, vouched for, let me know. I'm on hand to help. And yeah, hopefully look forward to speaking to you all soon.
Thanks, George. Thank you very much.
Thanks, George. Take
Thanks,
care.
everyone. Have a
Bye.
good week. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye.